Morning. There's certainly a lot going on in our world. There's news that really shouldn't even be making the news, and there's news that's not making the news, but should be. Let me talk about some of the things that you barely skim the surface. One of them is what happened in Kansas City, which I think was a real tragedy. About 20 people were injured. One person died. As it now turns out, 3 shooters went to the Kansas City parade and just started shooting folks at the end of the line. With all the conspiracy theories that have been flying around about Taylor Swift and President Biden and how awful this is, poor folks, and I don't mean that they're necessarily economically poor. I just mean people who were going out to celebrate with their children the victory of their team, the Kansas City Chiefs, were gunned down by folks who were angry. The anger in this country's got to stop because it is causing so many deaths of despair. Yeah, the economy's doing fine. Corporations have never made so much money. And yet, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s, a lot of skilled labor can't get jobs because the big corporations, they're doing just fine. But the rest of us, we're looking at very little of a social safety net. And that's got to change, folks. We need the innovation. There's a bill that's trying to get passed in Congress that would reinstate childcare, not to the levels that they were before, but would also encourage research and development. I know a lot of corporations don't want to see research and development encouraged because they just like raking in the big bucks by maybe painting an air conditioner green or red, but not doing too much that makes it energy efficient. Well, the government's willing to pay for innovation, and that's a good thing. But like that bill, that would be great for the American people, and the bill that would save many lives in the Ukraine, in Gaza, in Israel, and in Taiwan, that's still stuck. And I wonder, why is it stuck in the House of Representatives? Do these folks really love Russia so much that they want to become part of what Bush called the axis of evil many years ago? Iran, North Korea, Russia, and now China. China's an interesting story. They don't do things necessarily where you can see them like Russia, when Russia attacks the Ukraine and just bombards them with an inordinate amount of missiles. No siree. China is very quiet in how they let information flow. I know. I'm on TikTok. I've had over 6 videos banned. If I talk about the Middle East, banned. Talk about Israel, banned. It says that I have gone against the guidelines for the community. Can't get through. Talk about Putin, banned. Hamas, banned. So don't kid yourself. You're in love with Russia? Well, Russia's not a standalone package. Russia is with Iran, North Korea, China, to the extent that China wants to be involved, most likely Turkey and Hungary. So we got a real problem. You think you'd rather be aligned with those folks than with Paris and London and Switzerland and Japan, Singapore, Taiwan, South America, Central America, and so many other countries who are looking to us to lead democracy. As far as I'm concerned, I'm for democracy. I'm for looking at our problems head on and saying, what can we do about it? I'm not looking for prayers anymore. When I see so many mass murders in America, I know I want to ban assault weapons and large magazines. I know I want red flag laws that folks who commit domestic violence and are known to have committed domestic violence do not have guns. I want restrictions. I want background checks that have meaning. And I also would like to get rid of our opioid crisis. We're saying it comes from Mexico. Well, when you listen to the folks in Great Britain, they've got an opioid crisis too. But they're saying it's coming from China. It could be coming from many places. The Golden Triangle, Afghanistan, those regions, they were known to have opium. They stopped for a while. But now I understand it's so easy to synthesize fentanyl that in Great Britain, what's happening, people who think they're purchasing Oxycontin on the web to get rid of their stress or get rid of their pains, they're actually dying from an opioid that's been laced. It's evidently easy and cheap to purchase. And now this has become a health burden on the OECD nations, American nations. Too many drugs, too many deaths of despair. The UK said last year we had 70,000 people in America die from opioids. Well, I've heard the number was much higher, and the number is higher from deaths from guns. Don't you think it's time that we actually had solutions? And when we're talking about solutions, what about what's happening in our climate? Whether Chile and the South American continent is burning up, or the ice floes are disappearing in the polar cap, and polar bears are going to go hungry in Iceland because they can't get food. It says in The Guardian, 15% of the folks are climate deniers. Well, that leaves 85% who aren't. And why aren't we dealing with the 85%, the folks who know climate change is real and they want to live in a healthy environment? So this is a mixed bag of ideas, folks. A mixed bag of problems, and there are always solutions. Remember that. We're a creative people. We've got research and development. We've got bright people in this country. Utilize their talent and let's move forward together.